Hey everyone, Chris Stoltz, coming at you today from the FUGE. And the reason I'm at the FUGE is because it's time for Zolocon once again. And I'm here with my friend Kirk.
Hello.
And we're gonna go check Zolocon 2024 number 2. Last time it's at the FUGE, so let's go check it out. Okay, so we're now inside the actual centrifuge. Kurt, you've never been here before, right?
Yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah, that's the actual centrifuge. That's called a gondola, I learned.
Yeah, right on.
And this is the actual centrifuge. And of course, there's all kinds of awesome toy vendors here. So let's go see what we can find. We are only like a booth into the show, and there's already some Muppet stuff. Check out this Fisher-Price Rolf. He is in great shape. That's awesome. As well as this Fisher-Price Kermit plush. There's a Fisher-Price Sesame Street 1, 2, 3 play set over here. And we're only one booth in. Of course, as you all know, I have both these already in my collection. Kurt, do you have these in your collection?
I happen to have both of these in my collection too, yeah.
So much cool stuff. A whole bunch of vintage Star Wars figures. There's a He-Man Castle Grayskull up there. All this vintage G.I. Joe and Ninja Turtle stuff. GoBots, Street Sharks, Planet of the Apes. There's just so much stuff. But our gang is Muppets. Here we have a new Kermit Funko Pop. This is the frumpy face Kermit with the coffee mug from the meme. They made like a meme Kermit Funko Pop now. Kurt, you don't do funk? Yeah, that's the face. Yep, that's the face. Did you model for?
That was me.
The resemblance is uncanny. Wait a minute. For a second there, I thought this was something else. It almost looks like this could be a Pepe Pop. If this was just like this, it could totally be a Pepe Pop, but no. It's Anxiety from Inside Out 2. Man, it gave me anxiety because I thought there was a pop I didn't have and needed to get. So we have a celebrity here. Tom Bowman is here. He's a little, I mean, I don't know. His personality seems a little flat, a little two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's not him. That's just a cutout of him. But Kurt, you know this guy?
Yeah, I know Tom. He's a good guy.
Does he look like that?
Mostly, except for the pink hair. He's a little more flat on the top, you know?
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, and what is he? He has a sneaker and...
Custom sneakers, all Air Force Ones, I think. Mostly Air Force Ones, right?
For the most part, yeah. And then we have our own silhouette as well.
Right, and he makes mad balls?
Tom has a funky studio that looks like Nickelodeon studios from the early 90s.
I mean, they have a Puppet Master one? That's cool. As long as there's puppets involved, I'm in. I love it. That's awesome.
Clown?
That's Bozo.
Oh, it's Bozo.
Bozo, we got Toxic Avengers, we got some like classic kind of Madball kind of characters back there. That's the movie.
Oh, a movie, yeah.
Cal from, the whole, Kevin Smith universe, the View universe, Ultraman. All kinds of cool stuff. I should also mention these are all officially licensed, not just fan-made. And we all know that Steamboat Willie is in the public domain now, but otherwise, you don't see a whole lot of Denver the Last Dinosaur merch. That is really cool to see. There's a bunch of vintage action figures, including ones from the Flintstones movie. Of course, the Henson Creature Shop did the creatures for. And of course, they have Dino, which of course, like I said, the Henson Company designed this Dino for this movie. This giant T-bone steaks and bones and bowls. That is awesome. I do already have Dino in my collection, so I don't need to pick him up. All right, over here at Mark's booth, we got a still in the box Fisher-Price Gonzo. Fisher-Price Muppet seems to be one of the going things today. Yeah. All right, so Fisher-Price Gonzo. We have some old school Sesame Street puppets. We got Cookie Monster, the Count, and an Anything Muppet. You rarely see the Anything Muppet, so that's really cool. The Finger Puppet gift set. Look at that. Got a whole bunch of characters in there. Miss Piggy and Kermit color form set. Check that out. There's also a whole bunch of Fisher-Price, not Fisher-Price, but Sesame Street finger puppets over here.
Yeah, Child Guidance.
Child Guidance, that's right. I was trying to think of the name of them. Child Guidance. Even a Lefty the Salesman still mint in the box. Mark, you always have the coolest stuff.
Thank you, sir.
There's also a Fisher-Price Scooter stick puppet here. Still pretty much mint in the box. as well as an Ernie action figure from Tara Toy Company. There's a whole bunch of Squishmallows over here. And of course, there's Kermit. Gotta love the Kermit Squishmallow. I love the fabric on these is just so cool. The whole picture on the tag there is really nicely done. I don't see any of the other ones. There's a Miss Piggy, a Animal, a Fozzie, and a Sam Eagle. So I don't see any others, but cool to see Kermit here. One of the special events happening at this show is this is like the world's first East Coast Migo meetup. So there's a bunch of dealers that have Migo figures. They've never made any Muppet Migo figures. I'm not sure why. I guess Migo just never could get the license for them. But there are so many cool Migo figures. They really should have. Maybe even just the Muppet Performers at least. They should really make Muppet Performer Migos. That'd be really cool. I could totally see a Frank Oz or a Dave Goelz Migo. The limited edition Jim Henson would probably be the biggest seller, but I could totally see the Muppet Performers as Migos. So because this is the last time this show is going to be held at this location, we will no longer be seeing the Centrifuge at Zolocon in the future. So I figured I'd give you guys some quick facts about the location that we're in. This used to be called the Johnsonville Centrifuge, part of the Naval Air Development Center, otherwise known as NADC. Originally, the whole land was farmland, and it was acquired by the Brewster Aircraft Company in 1939, and by 1941, it was a factory that built Buffalo fighters and dive bombers. It wasn't until the end of World War II that the Navy acquired the property outright and converted it for use by the Naval Aircraft Modification Unit, otherwise known as NAMU, which was a division of the Naval Aircraft Factory. Okay, now back to the toys. Check this out. They got some cool shirt tails. So it looks like a bogey bank maybe back there. Some Wuzzle stuff. Even a old school vintage Miss Piggy rattle mirror. That's awesome. And Kurt, I heard you got some Muppet Baby stuff as well. What'd you find over here?
Picked up those McDonald's Happy Meal bags from maybe 89 or so. That's the second series.
Yeah, this is like the Muppet, kind of not Muppet Kids, it's the Muppet Babies. Yeah, this is when they're all like got vehicles with them. Yeah. I loved Kermit's like truck thing. It's like always weird. Like it came in two different parts. And it was like, what is this thing? I mean, I know what a tricycle is. I know what a I guess it's a skateboard. Whatever Gonzo's.
Oh, he's got a plane.
It's a plane with a skateboard. And I know what a wagon is, right? But like Kermit's is like a car with like this little piece to it, and it's just bizarre. Like you're supposed to use your imagination, but like we don't know what that is. Like that's too imaginative. We don't know what it is. If you had the figures, we never had the bag before.
I don't have the bags. Yeah, I'm gonna put that on display with my figures.
Bags are key. Back here we have some Fraggle Rock Happy Meal toys as well. Here's Moki. She was Moki and an eggplant. I'm not sure what that's about. Moki and an eggplant. And it was Boober and Wimbley in a pickle, which that means the Fraggles had pickling technology because it's not a cucumber, it's a pickle apparently. So apparently Fraggles had way more advanced technologies than we previously thought. Here we have a U.S. Navy Mark IV flight suit, the torso and partial glove sections. It kind of looks like something from Alien in here, but this is an actual spacesuit. Used during the 1950s, the Navy and Air Force were developing aviation flight suits. While they're doing that, the Navy focused on the development of pressure suits that would protect pilots from losing consciousness during exposure to high acceleration forces, otherwise known as G-forces. The Mark IV flight suit represented the culmination of the Navy's efforts to develop a lightweight, full-pressure suit for its aviators. The complete suit consists of a 2-layer torso, helmet, gloves, and boots, and weighs 20 pounds. All around the place, they have these great tributes to the astronauts. This is the Mercury Project, America's first manned space flight program. We have Alan B. Shepard from the Freedom 7, Virgil Gus Grissom from the Liberty Bell 7, John H. Glenn Jr. from the Friendship 7, M. Scott Carpenter Aurora 7, Walter M. Schirra Jr. from the Sigma 7, L. Gordon Cooper Jr. from the Faith 7, and Donald K. Deke Slayton. The Centrifuge training consisted of 45 hours per astronaut. Together, the astronauts completed 147 runs. Project engineers and scientists made another 98 runs. The gondola interior simulated a Mercury cockpit. The astronauts did not have control of the centrifuge, but performed certain critical flight tasks during training. Full pressure flight suits tested at altitude. G profiles, slow onset accelerations during 3-phase boost up to 9G, and decelerations within re-entry up to 8G. Over in this section here, we have the Mayo tank. Yes, that was a water immersion tank for protection, protect the body against adverse forces of acceleration. On this side here, we have all the control panels. You have a control panel in your house? This is like that to 1,000 with like these crazy control panels that help make sure everything ran perfectly. We have a couple of Play-Doh play sets over here, including a Sesame Street Play-Doh play set. It looks like it could be from the 90s or so. I'm not quite sure. Over here we have a giant Teenage Mutant Turtle figures. I guess we have Turtles 2 and Turtles 1 figures. Of course, the Henson Creature Shop designed the creatures for those movies, so always cool to see the first 2 Turtle films represented. Over here we have a Palisades Bunsen action figure, still in the box. You don't see a whole lot of Bunsen merchandise, really ever. It's such a shame that they don't make them anymore, but what are you gonna do? Over here we have some more Funko Pops, and we have the Elmo on a trike Funko Pop. This was a flocked Target Con exclusive. I really like how they have them sort of like sideways in the box, so it gets some depth to them. There's a whole bunch of classic video games here, and something you don't see every day is the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Tactics game that Limited Run put out. Look at that. This is the Switch version, still mint in the box. I did pick this up directly from Limited Run when they came out in both the Switch and PlayStation versions, so I have both of those. And here we come to the control room. This is just such a cool place. Kurt, you thought this was all fake, right? You thought this...
I didn't think this part was fake, but I thought the panels on the wall were fake.
No, everything here is legit. That's what makes
Looks
this
a little
place...
Disney, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, except that it's owned by Sony.
Yeah.
They got product placement here. Otherwise, but yeah, that's what makes this place so interesting, is that everything is authentic. This is exactly the place that they trained the astronauts. They spoke right into these microphones. They touched the dials, the knobs. They're all legit. This is the Centrifuge computer control system. I'm telling you, everything in this room, every screen, every button was used for something, and all this computing power will fit in your pocket today, if not like 10 times more. I mean, it's just incredible what they were able to do with the technology they had. And I mean, these rolls of paper, I mean, people don't even print things anymore, and there's like printing paper that's like, 50 years old. It's just absolutely incredible. You can even watch VHS in here. There's a VCR up there. That's what they were doing. They weren't even sending astronauts to space. They're just watching space movies and pretending. That's what this room is. It's one giant movie theater made to look like they're actually working. I have a lot of friends that are electricians, and I think this would drive them crazy. But this is the switchboard or something like this. Look at all the wiring that just goes into this stuff. Just wild. This is the EAI 2000 from Electronic Associates Inc. I have no idea what this was used for, but if I touch this dial, oh my God, bro! There's a machine here that you could put 10 cents in, and then it also has a bottle opener over there, so possibly it was made for like a soda machine or something like that. That's really interesting. I don't know. Push for bent coin release. This device equipped with National Coin Unit. Deposit 10 cents. One dime does not give change. Okay, so maybe it was 10 cents a ride. Maybe they were charging the astronauts for a ride in the capsule. Here's something you don't see every day. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the movie poster with Donatello as a farmer. I don't know if I ever saw this as a poster before. I mean, I know I seen it that scene in the movie. I think I recall that scene in the movie, but never as a poster. That's pretty cool. Over here we have a bunch of vintage video games, and I'm coming across this Jim Henson's Muppets Game Boy Color game, only for Game Boy Color. Kurt and I were just talking, the problem with being such a large collector of anything is sometimes you don't quite remember, what you actually have. And I'm pretty sure I have it in my spreadsheet that I do or do not have this, but man, that is super tempting. It's 30 bucks. I'm not quite sure if I have it in the box like this, but all right, I'm gonna put it back and I'm gonna look at my spreadsheets and look back up in the museum and double check, and then I'll come back and be like, oh, I should have bought that. But for now, I think I'm gonna pass, but man, that is definitely tempting. And annoying when you don't know what you have. You're like, should I buy that?
Sure.
Should I not buy that? I mean, that's our problem. Like oh.
So that's a good problem to have, right?
I guess a little more about the venue itself. When the war ended, the production shops were converted to research laboratories, studying and developing pilotless aircraft, electronics and weapons, and the Naval Air Development Station, Johnsonville, otherwise known as NADS, was born. Over the years, changes associated with new missions resulted in renaming the site to the Naval Air Development Center, otherwise known as NADC, and Johnsonville eventually became the Naval Air Warfare Center. More than 31 laboratories would eventually call this Warminster location home, including those studying navigation, submarine detection, aerospace materials, aircraft structures, pilots' equipment, computers, airborne photography, and aircraft instrumentation. Construction began on the Human Centrifuge building in 1947 and was completed by 1949. It initiated operations to research the limits of human tolerance for G-forces, and by the 1950s, astronauts for the U.S. space program began training here, and it continued operation until 2004. The centrifuge consists of a 10-foot diameter spheroid gondola mounted to a 50-foot arm that rotated around a circular centrifuge chamber powered by a 4,000 horsepower motor capable of accelerating to 173 miles per hour in under 7 seconds. Operational for nearly 50 years, the centrifuge was an invaluable training tool for many of America's early spacefarers, including Project Mercury astronauts Alan Shepard, John Glenn, Scott Carpenter, Donald K. Deke Slayton, and Apollo 11 crew members who first walked on the moon, such as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. And you can arrange a tour of these facilities, rent this facility out for a prom, wedding, or even a toy show. And I'll put that information in the description down below. Today they actually have the pod open for everyone to get in. So we're gonna hop in the pod, otherwise known as a gondola, and see the actual inside. Gotta be careful and watch your step. You step on here, they come in to the cockpit. And this is the actual view the astronauts had while being spun around in the centrifuge. Look at just all the stuff it took to make this thing work. Absolutely incredible. All these monitors to, I guess, monitor and see what they were doing. So put a Bugs Bunny sticker there, as you can see. Just incredible. Put your legs here and here, and you hold on for dear life as you're spun around. I just realized as I move my feet, there's actually pedals down here. You can see they actually move. You can strap your feet into them too, I guess. That's cool. I guess there's another one on this side as well. Yeah, there you go. Put your feet in there and get a little movement and you're holding on for dear life. Actually, oh, this one, when you push the other one comes up, so they have like a different kind of, I'm not sure why they do that, but I'm sure there's a reason. Again, there's so many levers and knobs. I'm not quite sure what any of them do. I'm sure all were important. Check out the helmet here. That's what you would wear to make sure your head didn't fall out of your skull because, or your brain, I guess. Should your brain sit in your skull because they're going so fast. And of course, there's the view of the control room from the gondola. Let's see what happens if I push this in. Those are the G-forces. So you are the man that knows all about this contraption. You know,
I know a lot.
You know a lot. So tell me a little about it.
Well, this is the world's largest human centrifuge. It's capable of doing 40 Gs. It has a 10 G per second onset, which is roughly about 176 miles an hour. It opened up in 1950. It does hold the world record for G-forces. It closed in 1997 just because it is way too large for anything that they ever need to do. This was the centrifuge that trained all the astronauts with Project Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo. And it was also a U.S. naval facility for training pilots. So the cockpit that is in there now was used to train pilots on how to overcome flat spins, where if you remember the movie Top Gun, the original, Goose dies in a flat spin. This is where they came and brought them to teach them how to overcome that.
And you said it costs a lot of money to run one of these things.
Well, right now it's disabled, so it would cost a lot of money to get turned back on, but then the power usage is so high that it would cause brownouts in the area. So just to turn the power on would be a pico bill that no one would want to ever pay.
Of course, this is the view the astronauts would see as they came back out of the pod. So much technology, so much information, so much expansion of the human world happened because of this machine right here. We're back at Mark's booth and he has some more Muppets out. Now he has this Sesame Street Play-Doh set. This one looks like it's from the early 70s, 80s. Let's say 1980s. So there we go. 1980s Play-Doh play set. It's still mint in the box. I like the graphics on that. That's awesome. He also now put out some more Sesame Street Muppet puppets. So we have Grover and Kermit and Ernie's back there. There's even a Fisher-Price animal. Wow, it looks like he's in great condition too. All right, of course, so ask and ye shall receive. So here we can see the full card for this. Look at that. Sesame Street swimmers, line them up and watch them swim great for a tub or a pool. Like I said, I've seen this many times. I've had this in my collection, I think, since I was a kid. Opened, obviously. I only have ever seen it in the package like that. And of course, when you're talking to Mark, you say you want something, he says, oh, I have something else too. And look at this. It's a Sesame Street soapbox racer Oscar the Grouch, featuring Oscar the Grouch in his trash can racer. Includes push-button ramp launcher for fast starts, unpunched by Knickerbocker, 1977. Check this thing out. I don't think I've ever seen this before in my life. It says I love trash right on the front of the car. He has its ramp. You never see these things, especially in the package like that. It's a little bent up, but again, unpunched. Wow, that is really tempting. Mark also has a Sababa plush set of the Veterinarian's Hospital characters. You got Dr. Bob, Nurse Piggy, Nurse Janice, and a random chicken, but it could be Camilla, but you don't often see those plush figures still on the box like that. Okay, so I think that's gonna do it for the show. Did you pick anything up?
Yeah, I got a couple things.
Get the
Yeah, right, the Muppet Babies bags from McDonald's, and I found I know this isn't Muppet, but it is a little Hanna-Barbera statue.
I like Yogi Bear. All right. But we're going to say goodbye to Zolocon and Zolocon at the FUGE. This is the last one here, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about centrifuges and about this particular centrifuge. All right, we're going to go do some other things around town. All right, well, maybe we'll make a stop here. We happen to be passing by, so we're going to stop at Joys and Toys and see what kind of awesome things
Plural.
we can find. This whole section over here used to be nothing but Muppets and maybe some Peanuts kind of scattered in, but now just not a whole lot left. A couple of Sesame Street things, a Baby Kermit plush. They got some Sesame Street placemats and puzzles back here. But what caught my eye was this Miss Piggy dress-up doll dress. This is the garden dress. Kirk says this is the most common one.
I wouldn't say that, but it's pretty common.
Well, I'm not sure if I have this. I have to go check my list, but that's pretty cool to see it in the package still. So, all right, that is very tempting. All right, well, what are you finding over here?
Yeah, apparently there are some cool things in the stacks as well.
Wow, Play-Doh Sesame Street Activity Set. We saw a couple different versions of this at the show earlier today, but not this set with the whole street scene, and it comes with like a bunch of molds for characters. You can make Bert, Ernie, Big Bird, the Count, Oscar, and Cookie Monster. That's cool. And the Count and Big Bird on there. You don't see the Count on a whole lot of stuff.
Anything.
Yeah.
Look, you can make an orange Oscar if you please.
That's
I mean,
right.
This is can, but you could make his face orange too.
Right, you could switch it up and make first season Oscar.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's take a closer look at this. I mean, the box is a little banged up, but wow, look at this thing. It's actually still mint in there. Like I said, wow, that's wild. You never see these things, especially like this. I mean, again, the box is pretty beat up, but it's still technically mint in box, just that the box is not mint. All right, I think we might have to go ask and see what they're asking on this. And this is kind of cool. I see this every once in a while. It's this Cookie Monster keyboard thing, and I guess what you do is you kind of put this, and at some point you put the sheet music right here, and his eyes do something. His eyes spin around, but I'm not sure what combination of notes you have to hit to do that. But this is actually in decent condition. A lot of times you see them, but the eyes are broken or the keyboards are all, nasty and dirty. This is actually in somewhat decent condition, but I'm going to pass. Is this do you want this thing?
That's a pass for me as well.
Pass for you. So we're not gonna buy this today.
If you hit another one like that, we'll all be flat.
And you also happen to notice this Sesame Street marble computer put out by Child Guidance, and you were wondering what this was. So I actually have one of these, and the one I have is open as well. So you can put these little cards in the machine, and it'll actually, the marbles will spell out, if you will, the number or the letter of what it is. And you put like a zebra in there, it'll put like a Z, it'll tell you the letter. It's really
That's
interesting.
cool.
Like, it's real, like dot matrixy 70s, early 80s computing power, like in child learning form.
Yeah, sure.
It's pretty cool.
It's cool, and I like the packaging. It's the same as the Child Guidance puppets and radios and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, that was the thing. They weren't very creative in their packaging, Child Guidance. They made everything in this like plain white box with this like green border around it. Every single thing looks like that. So they're very nondescript in that way, but they had cool stuff inside of it, and that's really what counts. Over here, they have a bunch of records. Actually, 3 whole boxes of Kids 45s, $1 each. And in the second box, I found a stack of Sesame Street 45s. We have Sing, and what's the name of that song? Letters, Going for a Ride, and I Love Trash. Numbers, Welcome, and I've Got 2. And these are really interesting. These are songs from Sesame Street. It says, what are kids called, and green, but that is definitely not Kermit on there, and didn't have any of the actual regular Sesame Street characters on it. These are put out by Peter Pan and not by CTW Records. So we have this interesting one. Then we have another one, Up and Down and J Jump, Someday Little Children and Circles, and Sing and Play Along, which all would be much, much cooler if they were actual Sesame Street records and not these ones from Peter Pan. So on the way over here, I asked you who your favorite Muppet was, and you could not begin, you just could not even wait to get out that your favorite Muppet is Pepe. And they have some Pepe stuff here. They have Vacation Pepe and regular Pepe. So, I mean, how come you're not getting those too? I mean,
These are lies. This is fake news right here. Pepe is not my least favorite Muppet. Thank you.
It's not your least?
Is my least favorite.
That's a Freudian slip. You heard it here first. Okay, so now let me show you what I picked up. I did wind up picking up the Cookie Monster Sesame Street Swimmers, still mint in the package by Knickerbocker, as well as the Sesame Street Knickerbocker Soapbox Racer Oscar the Grouch, which, aside from a slight bend, is still mint in the package. And on my further thrifting adventures with Kurt, I also picked up this Where the Wild Things Are movie storybook, released in 2009 to promote the Spike Jones film, for which the Jim Henson Creature Shop created the Wild Things. Thank you so much for watching this video. I want to thank Zolocon for having us and putting on such a great show year after year. Be sure to look in the description down below for a link to their website and information about their upcoming shows. Thanks to Kurt for being here with me and exploring the show.
Thanks for having me, yeah.
Please be sure to like and subscribe. Please leave a comment down below and let me know what your favorite item from this video was. It could even be Yogi Bear. That's okay. And I will see you in the next video. Here's how the Centrifuge room looks without all the toy vendors in it. Not as much fun.